Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley, your host of Life After an Ego Death, and today's special guest is recording from the UK, Maria.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. We're just gonna dive in and see what happens. What would you like to share about your spiritual journey?
Okay, well, first I'd like to say thank you, Ashley, for inviting me and giving me this platform to share my journey. I feel very honoured and blessed to have this opportunity to speak with you and to take part in this episode. We all have our journeys and experiences, right? And I think my
Mm-hmm.
journey is possibly a story that some people can resonate with. I've always been, I think I'm always been empathetic, giving, wanting to help others, taking on tasks or responsibilities that weren't even mine. Basically, putting my needs last, where I came to a point where I think I lost myself as a result. I came to a point where I didn't recognize myself. I started to mourn the loss of who I once was. I lost my enthusiasm. I wasn't bubbly anymore. And I just believe that, in this awakening or this spiritual journey that I've now embarking upon, I believe that our emotions, well-being, our thoughts are highly affected and influenced, examples from our upbringing and our childhood experiences, the cultures we're in, family dynamics, relationships, blah, blah, blah. So in my own experience, I was always told by my mother, which still kind of has a little bit of a mark on my soul, basically to manage my emotions. My mother's Asian, Southeast Asian to be precise. My father's English. And I was raised as a mixed-race Buddhist child. So I was very into the Buddhist practice when I was younger. Not out of choice, just because my mother was. My father was atheist. He wasn't that religious in any sense. And I'm not sure how other Asian mothers are, but I was taught to toughen up, keep quiet, suppress my emotions that could negatively affect other people or cause problem or basically make things worse. My mother's very strict. She was mostly inaffectionate. She had high standards and expectations towards my sister and I. There would always be a saying that she would say, especially when I was crying. She would be like, how can I translate this? Why are you crying? Tears don't help anything. They don't solve problems. Same with when I'm angry, she'll be like, anger is stupidity, rage is insanity, basically. And I really tried hard over the years to make sense of what she was trying to say and why she was saying it. Basically, I know that like Asian cultures have a strange need to compare and be in competition with each other. I'm not sure why they do that, but I know that every parent wants the best for their child. But why the comparison? Why the standards? Why the pressure? And the constant need to be seen as doing better than the other person. I just didn't understand that logic, especially when I was younger. I always thought that she was being cold and unloving. I resented her for it a lot. Not for hugging me, but it's what I needed the most. I just needed the affection and the hug. I didn't want her to say anything, but yeah, it's just the hug that I needed. And it was never there. I kind of had to demand it or had to be the one to initiate it. And I just depended in that sense on my father. But my father left when I was 12, I think. My mother and father didn't have a healthy relationship. He was continuously cheating on her, and then they separated. And from a daddy's girl, I just didn't have my daddy anymore. And I had to grow up really, really fast. But I also grow up controlling my emotions in that sense as well. I made sure that I was the strong one, the tough one, the resilient one, continuously picking up myself to protect myself and take everything with a pinch of salt, basically not to trust anyone easily ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very cautious at a very young age, and I think that went into my relationships as well with men. I always tried to make things work in relationships, which resulted me in overgiving, over compromising, sometimes giving in, not retaliating in an argument just to keep the peace, simply basically to just stop the anger and the drama of it all. And I always idealized and romanticized my relationships with men, basically having a hope that things would work out. But I always judged myself too harshly, thinking how pathetic and weak I was, how naive, too trusting, too giving. I was giving with no reciprocity, basically sacrificing myself. And through this journey and reflecting on it now, I know that I was just fearful of being abandoned, in a sense, and being unloved, being unworthy, holding back my voice, because my mother never, well, she would argue with my dad, but even now she would be like, keep quiet, don't say anything, keep it to yourself. And I'm like, well, what if I'm angry? I'm going to say that I'm angry. If I'm not upset, I'm going to say that I'm upset. And she's like, well, what's the point? I just didn't understand that logic. I mean, okay, in relationships, I would listen to what her advice was, and I would keep quiet. But now I think I'm like, no, I can't. Well, why? Why do I have to be the one to keep things in and not express myself? I just that's a big no-no for me now. I'm very open and outspoken now. Basically, so through that self-criticism that I put myself in, I didn't see my worth. I would always criticize myself first before I gave anyone else the opportunity to criticize me, especially my mother. Basically, I would change myself in order to try and be something the other person wanted, in order to feel chosen and for them to stay. And I just realized that it stems from my inner child, the negative experiences or the traumas that I went through, whether it be my mother's nature or my parents' toxic relationship. They all had a part to play in this cycle that I found myself in with all these relationships I had with men. God, the amount of heartbreak and disappointment, I was cheated on so many times. And I think I came to a point in my young adult life that I was just I gave up. I stopped dating for 2 years. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much drama, too much heartache. I just literally built up my walls and just closed it all off and just focused on working, supporting myself, supporting my family, because I was the only one working in my family. Had to support my sister, had to support my mother. Just had to grow up and just took responsibility, pay the mortgage, pay all the bills. So all of my 20s, that was my life, basically. I didn't socialize that much. I didn't go on holiday. Basically, my 20s was shit. Sorry for my language. But, you might have to bleep that out. I'm sorry. I came to the conclusion that emotions are our own. They belong to us individually. There's a reason for everything, and not to waste your energy and time trying to find out the reason why someone is not in your life. Basically, let it go, let them go. If anyone is meant to be in your life, maybe you will meet them again, but be aware of the lessons that they have taught you. Just accept that this is a journey, and your journey and their journey doesn't align. Be thankful for the lesson and wish them well if they do part. Just amazing how it all makes sense now.
Yeah, it makes sense now that we have the wisdom and compassion. But then, as we were going through it, I mean, I don't want to make it smaller than what it is. It was a really big thing. And while you were saying your story, I was at the verge of tears because my mother was like your mother. And it was awful. And I just related to you and resonated with you in every single way.
Yeah, I think I came to the conclusion that only we can actually truly heal ourselves. We can see differently, choose differently, have awareness and clarity, and come to a point where we start to understand ourselves, our identity, our repeated patterns and our cycles that we put ourselves in. Thinking back, I used to have so much anger and resentment towards my mother. Like anything that would come out of her mouth, I'd just be like angry and just be in this kind of like mindset and this energetic kind of like emotion that I was just like, oh, or she's going to irritate me again. She's going to say something that I don't want to hear. And then through this awakening I had, I think it was in January, I had this weird epiphany dream. And I've just processed, I think I've healed so much in these past 2 months that I'm just like, I came up to my mum one day, and she lives with me now actually, and I said to her, Mum, I just want to say thank you. I've just come to realise that I'm come from a very long line of very strong women. Like, my mum's gone through stuff, my grandmother's gone through stuff, my sister's gone through stuff, and God, like, my sister's quite ill at the moment. She was a drug addict throughout all her teens, rebellious of what my father leaving and whatnot, and she just went down the wrong path. She used to be an A-star student. And now, because of the self-abuse that she's put herself through, she's now physically very, very ill. Her life expectancy isn't that long. She's always in a negative mindset, always depressed, constantly calling me every day. But I remember that in my childhood with my sister, our relationship wasn't great. She was very abusive. And I used to hate her so, so much. So much resentment and anger towards her, because she was never the idol or like role model that I needed. She wasn't the big sister in the family. I had to step up at a very young age and kind of be the responsible one, be the big sister. Now she comes to me for advice. Now she comes to me to kind of like make her feel better, help her with stuff, help her financially. And now I don't want to say karma, because it just sounds really mean, but she herself is struggling because she's in an abusive relationship. And through this kind of like thinking that I've come from a family of like very strong women, I just realized that, what, she is strong as well. Because if I went through that, or other people went through what she's gone through, they would have given up a long, long time ago. And I know I did come to a point where I almost tried to hurt myself as well, but thinking about it now, like, oh my gosh, I am strong. My sister is strong. My mother is strong. My grandmother is strong. We've all gone through horrible relationships, and we're still here, like, and I just said to my mum, thank you, for being strong, because my mum could have easily given up when my dad left. She could have left us. She could have just focused on herself, get a new boyfriend or whatever, but she didn't. And even though, okay, she didn't say the right thing, she didn't act the right way or the way that we wanted, but she was still there. She was still present. And so I thanked her for that. She started crying. I started crying. And then she told me about things in her past that I never knew before. And gosh, we were like two best friends sitting, and I told her stuff that I never told her before. She told me stuff that she never told me before. And it was a very healing experience, let's just say that. And now I just openly tell her stuff, and she gives me good advice, which is amazing, Okay, she's still not affectionate, so she still has her guard up, but I'm not expecting that anymore. Kind of like, I know how to heal myself now. I know how to comfort myself. So, yeah, I'm less dependent on her affection as I was before. So, yeah, just looking back at my younger self, I think I chose to make choices or take the opportunity to heal from pain rather than seek vengeance, stay angry, or to hurt others. I mean, if I am to experience pain in the future, which is inevitable because there are so many things that we can't control, I will reflect upon it, understand it, and process it in a way I know how, and choose to react to it in a better way than I have done previously. Yes, there may be tears and heartache, but it's all part of healing, I think. So, yeah.
It's true. That's so beautiful. And I had to come to that realization, too, that I come from a very strong line of women, very resilient women. And I had to understand, like, she did the best that she could, even though a lot of things weren't right. But that was because I had to break the cycles. I had to find what was unhealthy. I had to heal all those things on an ancestral level. It had been passed down. And so I had to figure out, okay, what do I need to fix? And it was the self-abandoning. It was,
Mm-hmm.
the I guess I just had to see it from her angle and everything
Yeah.
and understand.
Yeah.
And like you
Yeah.
said, we have to, whenever we go through anything, we have to fully process that emotion. We have to
Yeah.
let it be in our body, feel it completely so that it could be
Mm-hmm.
released and so that we could
Exactly.
have a better reaction to it. And
Exactly.
that's the whole process. And you have to
Exactly.
start from the bottom to the top. You don't just do the one that's affecting you right now. You do, but
Mm-hmm.
really it goes all the way back to right when you were born.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Definitely.
you'll
Yeah. I
have
think that's one thing that we just have to be aware of. I mean, like,
mhm
we're all constantly surrounded by drama. You know, our brain starts to accept it at some point. You know, we're surrounded by people who teach, inspire, and change our minds. So we should pay attention to our environment and who are in it. Like, learn from your experiences and the people that come into your life. You know, everything teaches us
mhm
something. It just depends on how we are to recognize it and recognize the reasons and the lessons why they're in our lives. But I think most of
mhm
us are still kind of like not unaware, but have so much things that still need to be processed and healed from,
mhm
that we are kind of
mhm
blindsided to other things, or things that can, or the real reason why they're in our lives, basically. You know, like,
mhm
yeah. eh,
we
I
have to
mean, I came
identify the
across like so many
pattern.
different words. Exactly, exactly. So like, there's, you know, of course, I'm raised Buddhist, so I'll always constantly look at Buddhist quotes, because I just think they're kind of like a bit more to do with mindset and consciousness.
Mhm
Like, for example, there's something that I read that said, life is precious, change is inevitable, pain is temporary, kindness is contagious, being is enough, and the practice is to live it.
mhm
Basically, if you want peace, slow down. If you want wisdom, pay attention. If you want love, open your heart. You know, just have courage, be kind. You know, that's why kind of like put yourself in a mindset or inflict pain on others. You know, just be happy. Feed your soul. You know, feed your soul with things that make you happy. You know, listen to the music that moves you. You know, this kind of thing. Um,
exactly.
yeah, just like, don't. Even though others want to try and control our emotions or put us in a mindset, it's not because they want to hurt us. Okay, they may want to hurt us, whatever, but it's all to do with their traumas that they have not processed. You know, everyone goes through something unseen. So I just think to myself, you know, if my sister's mean to me one day, or just like abusive in her like verbal, kind of like spewing verbal abuse, or like trying to make me feel guilty if I don't want to send her money one day, or whatever, I would just think, okay, she's going through something, she's in a negative mindset. Do I stay on the call, listen to her, or just tell her, sorry, no, not now, I can't deal with you at the moment, and just explain. And if she doesn't listen, fine, and then I put the phone down, and I have to kind of reset myself, because I could react in such a negative way and let it affect my
mhm
mood throughout the whole day, or I
mhm
just let it go, you know, just hopefully she's gonna get out of this mindset soon. You know, and yeah, I need to look after myself first. And I think we all do, like, especially when it comes to toxic
mhm
people. Take care
right.
of yourself first, you know.
Yes. And also the reason why when we were going through our relationships and then we had abuse is because we were familiar with
Mm.
abuse as a
Yeah,
child, and
exactly.
so that's why we continued on, because we thought that was normal. It's not normal. And
Mm.
like you said, we're supposed to be happy, we're supposed to be thriving, we're supposed to be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not feeling that, you're in a cycle, you're in a karmic cycle, you're in a
Exactly.
pattern, and you need to break that
Yeah,
pattern, and you have to go.
exactly.
You really
Yeah,
have to get yourself out of it,
yeah,
because you're going
yeah.
to
Nothing
continue
really,
to be living the same thing.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Nothing actually ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. So if we learn
Right.
to open our hearts to anyone, everything, including those who drive us crazy, they can still be our teacher in a way. We just have to
Oh
see it
yeah.
from a different kind of way, basically. Um, but
Exactly.
yeah, like, I think, like, through this, I just think to myself, like, why, like sometimes, for example, for now, in this journey that I'm going through now, I still question myself, why now? Why has this awakening happened to me now? And I've kind of realized now that it's because I never saw it before, because I'm so blindsided and so stuck in negative mindset cycles, patterns, whatever, that because I was stuck in those cycles, I could never really see what lessons those experiences were trying to teach me, or those people were trying to teach me. And these old wounds and these old traumas, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, all these triggers are happening to me now. And I was just so angry because I was like, I thought I was happy. But you know what? No, I'm actually not happy because I've lost myself. You know, like, since this dream that I've had, I started painting again. I started drawing, writing poems. I'm in the process of writing a book at the moment, which is called Healing the Mother Tongue. So I'm in the process of doing that. And I'm like, I like to write. I'm going to write, you know. I like to talk to people and help people. So why not help, you know? Like, lots of people, not saying that lots of people need help, it just sounds really wrong. But lots of people just need guidance, I think, you know. And they just have to have that little kind of, like, guidance in how to help, like, heal themselves. And I think once we all kind of heal certain things in our life that have triggered us and, you know, made us go into a negative spiral cycle or whatever, you know, once we heal that, we become actually much more happier. Like, I feel much more happier in myself. But I am also aware that those around me maybe have not. I know my sister's still got a process. She still has a lot to heal from. My mother still has a lot to heal from. So, in a way, I think I'm still at a crossroads. Like, do I help them and, like, guide them, and, you know, or am I opening up to more kind of, like, toxicity? And, you know, if they start retaliating or they start being abusive again, like, that's definitely going to trigger old wounds. But I don't know. Well, I'm just going with the process at the moment. It is what it is.
You're already helping them because you've healed yourself and you exist in a higher vibration now. And so your presence alone is already helping them. You know, when you had that heart-to-heart with your mother, you couldn't have had that unless you healed. She's already opening up and becoming willing. So she's already opening herself up to healing. The way I see it is, if people ask me for advice and they are seeking, I only help the seekers, because if you help people that aren't asking, then they're not going to listen. You know, they need an open heart and an open mind and open ears to listen and understand and really take that in. And you don't want to waste any of your time or energy. You want to heal the people that want to be healed, right? Yeah. And some people don't want to, and that's okay. That's their karma to just watch you and to see that it's possible, and your presence is very healing already. So you're already doing a lot already, and because you did all this work, you've healed your bloodline that was cursed. You know, so you've already done so much.
I've seen so many posts that say that. Yeah. Hopefully I have, because I know that I am a strong person. You know, I think all the experience in my life has made me strong as well. And I think that, it sounds really strange, but I think that the reason why I had this dream and this kind of, like, awakening, that it was just basically the universal spirit telling me that, you know what, you are strong enough. You can heal. You can break this cycle. You can break this generational kind of, like, cycle that's going around, you know. And I was like, generational cycle, what's that about? And then I looked back in relationships that my mother's gone through, my sister's going through, my grandmother went through, my great-grandmother went through. And they've all been through relationships that either with narcissistic people or with men that cheated on them, where they haven't like been able to, you know, speak up, been able to kind of stand up for themselves, been able to kind of, like, you know, just be themselves. And I think hopefully I am the person to stop that, because I definitely am starting to speak up for myself more. And I mean,
you already did.
Thank you.
You already did. You're embodying it. You're expressing it already.
Yeah.
the fullest version.
Yeah.
So you did it.
Thank you.
And I did
Thank
it.
you.
I did it. We both did it. And
We both did it. We are strong women. Yes, sorry.
yes, we are. How incredible it is. It's so awesome. And now we're helping all the other women too that were in the same situation as us, trying to find a way out, looking for hope, looking for inspiration, trying to figure out, where do I start? And
I mean, there's nothing against men. You know, this is not like a feminist movement or anything. There's nothing against men.
No.
But I feel like men are going through something totally different, especially the narcissistic men, the abusive men. They have a really hard time expressing their emotions. And men have this kind of, I'm sure it's generational, but this kind of like logic and psyche where it's like, I have to be respected. You know, I have to be the provider. I have to be the strong one in the family or the strong one in a relationship. And to be expressive or to be open is a sign of weakness. You know, it's that kind of like mindset and that understanding, which I think is actually quite wrong. I think that we should all be open, but men just find it much more harder to be, and it flips back into something negative. I mean, the ideal relationship is when like two people are growing together, because that's the whole point of life, isn't it? To grow together, to evolve, to not just evolve spiritually, but emotionally, you know, healing each other or healing themselves, but just having someone on the side to like grow with them, kind of thing. And that to me is like the achievement of being in a relationship that is equal. That you know, no one is lesser than the other. You know, everyone has their own journeys to go through. Even relationships, everyone has their own journey and their own experiences. And just to have that someone to not tag along, but to have by your side would be amazing. And you know, there's a lot of like misconception, like misinformation, generational kind of like stigmas and all that kind of stuff. But I think a lot needs to change. A lot of people just need some guidance, I say.
Yeah, and we're doing our part. We're initiating the change. We have our tools and we're sharing it with everyone, and we're healing people as we go. Along with our day, every single day, that's what we're doing, and it is a big purpose, and it is a big mission, and it changes. It's a ripple effect. You know, you help your family, you help your friends, you change their life, and right now, someone's going to listen to this episode. We'll never ever meet them. We'll never know them, but it'll change their life forever, and it's going to heal them.
I just want to say to everyone, exactly. Yeah, I just want to say that, you know, life is too short. This life is so short. You just not stay in resentment and anger and, you know, trauma and negative mindsets, you know. Like, I will take this to, I think I will still hold this kind of like hurt inside of me, although I think I've healed from it a little bit, but I never have any resentment towards my dad. Okay, I resent that he left, but, you know, even he got remarried, he was still there, you know, in my life, but he passed away in 2022 from COVID, and he was in the Philippines. So I never got to meet him for the past, I don't know, the last 20 years. I never got to see him. We were still in contact, but I think I wish I could have said thank you to him, and that I loved him, and that, you know,
you can.
I'm always here for him.
You still can.
I know I can in spirit. Yeah, I know I can in spirit. And I know he's sometimes there around me. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. But something also recently happened, I think it was 3 years ago, that one of my best friends died from an epileptic fit. And it was on the same day that my dad passed away. And I was just like, oh my gosh, come on, what's going on? Like, I'm already trying to like heal from this pain of my dad passing, and here you are, you know, my best friend passes away, and I was just like, what's going on? Like, how can it be something there? So 16th of November would always be a traumatic kind of emotional day for me. But not because I'm still in pain, but because I'm sad with the loss of losing those two people. It's not, I'm not sad because I feel guilty and anything like that. I'm just sad that they're no longer in my life. They're always supposed to be around in spirit, but, they're not physically here, are they? So, life's too short, people. Just let things go, just let things go. It's not worth it. There's all this anger and resentment. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. And for anyone that has lost anybody, I mean, I have dealt with a lot of loss in my life as well. Call upon them and say everything that you need to say. Say everything that you need to say to them and tell them everything, because this part of you needs release. It needs to release, and it needs to be that day. It needs to be rewritten where it's not a sad day. So on that day, you have to really have a cathartic cry and let it all get out of you.
It's all part of healing when you're crying. Yeah. Some people think, I'm crying, I'm too weak, I'm not strong at all, why am I crying, it's pathetic. And I'm just like, no, cry, let it out. You've got to let it out. Even if it's composing music or, writing it down in a poem or, boxing or whatever, all this release is a part of healing. So just do it. Find your way and just do it.
Yeah, a lot of goodness will come into your life once you've made some space.
Exactly.
Wherever that sadness resided inside of you, once that gets up to the surface and released, then you leave space inside of you for positivity, light, goodness, for any type of vision that you have for the future to fill that space, and watch it flourish, watch it come to life, watch it happen. And that's what's helped me be so creative. That's what's helped me achieve a lot of my dreams, is because I let go of that past version of that life, that self, whatever. So a higher version of myself could come in and swoop in and save myself, to take me to higher heights, to higher levels of awareness and also of my reality, of my life.
Yeah. Just stop dwelling on all the negative stuff, just let it go. You will feel like a huge weight has been taken off your shoulders, There's like one quote that I want to say to everyone, where it's like, life is a journey we all embark on, and it's okay to rest, it's okay to say no or not now. Pain is temporary, so let things that hurt you go if you can. It's okay to cry, it's okay not to be okay. Feed your soul with things that make you happy and keep you inspired. Have compassion, have courage, and be kind to others, especially to yourself, because we all have or are possibly going through something unseen. So, just be aware and keep that in mind.